Hey guys, yeah, it's about 9:20 in the morning a.m. on this Thursday, May 11th, I believe. And I want to come on here, do a bit of I wouldn't say it's much of a follow-up or anything, but I wanted to come on here and give you my thoughts on something that just came out yesterday. Ironically, when I was, on the same day I was finally using ChatGPT. And what came out yesterday was BARD, B-A-R-D. And you have to excuse me, I have a cough drop in my mouth. But yeah, BARD, B-A-R-D came out. And this came out when Google was holding its, I guess you could say, yearly or annual presentation, just like what Microsoft or Apple does. When they introduce the newest things coming to the platform, or the newest things technology-wise that's coming, to retailers. Google did theirs yesterday. And one of the main talking points that came out of that was the fact that Google had decided to toss their hat into the ring of Chat AI and introduce BARD. Now, apparently, if you believe anything Wikipedia says, BARD was developed or created and first introduced on March 31st of this year, which makes it, from an age comparison, 5 months younger than ChatGPT that came out, around November of last year, and I think maybe a month or two younger, maybe 4 months younger or 3 months younger than Bing AI, which is Microsoft's answer to Chat AIs as well. And and anyway, to get to the point, like I said, it's early. To get to the point, I decided once, I heard people talking about this to give it a try because apparently it's available, even though it's still in the experimental phase. So I used it, and just out of comparison's sake, I gave it, I gave it and ChatGPT two different scenarios. Two different scenarios. Well, not two different scenarios, but the same scenario is what I'm trying to say. Like I said, it's early. I do apologize. But like I said, I gave it the same scenario, basically to, basically write out or type out, how the women's championships and women's cruiserweight championship in WCW from 96 to, let's say, potentially its closing in 2001 could have been utilized correctly. And when I compared the two, Google's BARD actually gave me a more, I guess you could say, realistic and very sensible and, very satisfying scenario of how these championships could have been used the right way. Well, ChatGPT, basically decided, okay, I don't know much about the women's, those women's titles at the time. I know they existed, so I'm just going to, give fake names or fake in-ring names for the characters and all that. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, if I was to, give a point between the two, I'd have to say a point goes to BARD. And I think that's why when I look at the race as to what's going to be the more utilized, more successful, Chat AI, to come, in, the following years and following months and all that, even though it just, publicly debuted, in the past 12 hours, I have to say that right now, just based on what it's given me, I'd have to say BARD, Google's BARD, definitely is in the forefront to be the more utilized and more popular Chat AI out of those, out there right now, like, ChatGPT and Bing's AI and all that. Even though it's still learning, because, when you go onto it and everything, when you use it for the first time, it tells you right off the bat on the screen, hey, I'm still in experimental mode. Whatever information you put into me, I will try my best to give, and whatever feedback you give to me to help improve, be great. So at least Google, has the sense to, have BARD tell you, hey, I'm still learning. Be patient with me. And and the same could be said for ChatGPT and, and even Bing AI, I believe, to an extent. Because as I mentioned yesterday, in my video, I talked about ChatGPT. What, some people of the Writers Guild that's on strike right now, hopefully that comes to an end soon, and even those that are not on strike that work for places like, let's say, Broadway and stuff, what they have to understand is these, chat AIs, no matter which one you use, are still in their infancy. And yes, just like an infant, they're going to grow and they're going to develop and they're going to evolve over time. And, as that happens, yes, the more you use them, the more accurate the information they're going to get back to you, or the more accurate scenario or more fun the scenario or scene or story or outline they're going to get back to you, because they have grown, they have evolved, they have developed, just like an actual infant does. So anyway, like I said, I understand the concern, but they have to understand these things are just starting out. They're just starting out. So, they don't have too much to worry about, but I get why they want to prevent, that worry from becoming a major reality over time. I understand that. I really do. And everything. And the fact that BARD, like I said, gave me a more realistic, more legitimate, more sensible scenario when it came to the proper utilization and correct utilization of the WCW Women's Championship and the Women's Cruiserweight Championship back between 96 and what they could have lasted to 2001 if they wanted to. I get just by looking at that and then looking at what, ChatGPT gave me as an alternate more positive solution to Sally, the Sally slapping Sonic situation in RT-134, to me, it's understandable why people would be concerned. I get that. It is understandable why they'd be concerned. But getting back to, like I said, getting back to what I was saying about BARD and, how I feel is probably going to be, the one that, could be the most utilized. Again, like I said, right off the bat, in its first 12 hours to the public, like with me, it spat out something that not even ChatGPT, which is 5 months older than it, was able to do correctly. And even when it tried, it didn't give me the amount, vast information, that BARD did. It didn't. In fact, BARD even said, "Hey, here's a little bit more details if you want to utilize that in your little history of video or essay that you're doing." So to me, honestly, if I was to look at BARD's future and its evolution, and I look at it compared to the others, honestly, I could see BARD being the more utilized, more beloved chat AI out of them all. Not just because of the fact that it's part of Google, not just because of the fact that when you go to Google Chrome, that part of its updates, because I have to update Google Chrome on my computer, it's going to have BARD as a part of it. It's not going to be because of, the fact that when you buy a Chromebook, it's going to have it on there anyway. But it's going to be more, vastly utilized because of the fact that, in my opinion, Google is the most popular search engine outside of Bing. Outside of Bing and Yahoo and, Firefox and all that, is the most popular search engine and browser around. And because of that, and now having BARD as, its entry into the chat AI world, hold on a sec. It to me is going to take off. It's going to take off. If I was to make, let's say, a wrestling comparison, I would say look at what AEW is doing right now, and what is becoming. And people didn't think it would last too long, if at all. Look where it's at now. Look what it's on the verge of doing in August, and that's kind of how I see BARD. I see BARD basically being the AEW of the chat AI, and basically starting out, the way it is now, and just literally before you know it, taking off and becoming the most utilized and popular chat AI there is. You know, and again, and his thing, nothing against ChatGPT or Bing AI or whatever. Honestly, those are very popular and very beloved, chat AIs there is. But again, I think the disadvantage that, a service like ChatGPT has is it's not connected to a browser that gets utilized a lot, or a search engine that gets utilized a lot. Like, let's say, Bing and, BARD are. They're not connected. So it's harder for them, get answers or even be very detailed in, what they present and everything. So, so to me, when I look at BARD, yes, it just came out publicly. It's, just beginning. It's just starting. But I do see it as something that honestly is going to take off and outshine, with all due respect, Bing AI and ChatGPT and others just like them. I really do. And I think it mostly is going to be because of the fact that it's part of Google, and Google is the most utilized web browser there is right now. But what do you guys think? What are your thoughts on BARD? Do you agree with me? I mean, I could be wrong. For all I know, BARD could, fail, and ChatGPT could take off and be the king of chat AIs overall. You never know. But what are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. I'm sorry if I felt like I was rambling or kind of over the place, guys. It's early. It's about 9:31 in the morning, a.m. Pacific, on this Thursday, May 11th. So I do apologize for that. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment below, and I'll talk to you later. Comment in the live chat, and I'll talk to you later.